Climber Joost Kobusch loves adventure. He's just 22, but has already scaled many of the world's toughest mountains.
Climbing is my life. I couldn't imagine not to climb.
His ambition is to take on the ultimate challenge.
Climbing Everest or climbing an 8,000-meter peak takes a long preparation. Maybe you get this opportunity once in a lifetime.
But the mountains are about to test him in a way he never expected. A massive earthquake shakes the city. The tremors continue for over a minute. They're felt thousands of miles away in India, Bangladesh, and across the border in Tibet. The epicenter's here, about 50 miles northwest of Kathmandu. Magnitude 7.8. Immediately, the shock waves ripple out and tremors hit Mount Everest. Everest Base Camp. It's the height of the climbing season. May is one of the best months to tackle the peaks. Joost Kobusch is here, along with 100 other climbers.
I decided to take a day off. I actually was supposed to be up in the icefall, but I just had a bad feeling about it. So we were having breakfast. We were having a second breakfast when later people arrived.
Fuck! Oh.
Then we just started running to a safe place, to a place we thought which would be safe.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck this.
I think this avalanche was definitely one of the most powerful forces of nature I've experienced. I've been in other avalanches, but I never saw something that huge.
Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Ooh, straight ahead.
Moments after the earthquake at one of Kathmandu's oldest religious sites, the Monkey Temple. The dust clears over Kathmandu. Across Nepal, hundreds of communities are destroyed. For most, it's the worst earthquake in living memory. around 9,000 dead. More than 22,000 injured. And over 3 million people are homeless. High on a hill to the west of Kathmandu, what is left of the Monkey Temple. It's more than 1,500 years old, revered by both Buddhists and Hindus. Ashok, a priest, was here when the earthquake struck.
म चाहिँ यहीँबाट दौडेर गएँ यताबाट हेर्न सकिन्छ यो घरहरू चाहिँ नि भत्किरहेको थियो पुरा चाहिँ नि एकदम ठुलो उडिरहेको थियो ठुलोले चाहिँ नि केही चाहिँ नि देख्न सकेको छैन ठुलोले सारा चाहिँ नि यो स्वयम्भूले डाँडा नै ढाकिएको जस्तो लागिरहेको थियो टुरिस्टहरू पनि यताउता छालब्याल भइरहेको छ कहाँ अनि कोही कोही चिनिएको थियो टुरिस्ट चाहिँ नि भागिरहेको थियो चाइनिज इन्डियन युरोपियनहरू पनि भागिरहेको थियो अनि त्यसपछि चाहिँ नि 2 घण्टा जति भयो त्यसो गर्दाखेरि अनि 2 घण्टा पछि त यहाँबाट आवाज आयो यो घण्टाको चाहिँ नि आवाज आयो यो घण्टाको मुनिबाट चाहिँ नि यहाँ चाहिँ पाल एउटा रहेछ त्यहाँ पालबाट चाहिँ नि एकजना बच्चा चाहिँ नि कराइरहेको थियो त्यो बच्चा चाहिँ नि रुइरहेको सुन्यो त्यसपछि यहाँ हामीले आएर दौडेर यसो चाहिँ पुरा चाहिँ नि यो माटोले भरिरहेको थियो ठुलो ठुलो पनि यहाँ परिरहेछ यो ठुलो चाहिँ नि ढुङ्गा छ अनि यहाँ चाहिँ नि बच्चा रुइरहेको देखेर एकदम कुकुरले जस्तो यसो गरेर चाहिँ माटो निकाल्यौँ माथिबाट हामी यति माथि थियो यसरी निकालेर तलसम्म निकाल्दाखेरि त्यहाँ चाहिँ बच्चा चाहिँ जिउँदै रहेछ बच्चालाई निकालेँ बच्चाले चाहिँ मलाई एकदम मायाले यसो चाहिँ माया गरेर हातले माया गर्नुभयो त्यहाँ माथि यसो हेरेँ त्यहाँ माथि चाहिँ नि त्यो चाहिँ ढोका ढलिरहेको देखेर त्यो ढोकाको ठ्याक्कै मुनितिर कापमा च्यापेर मान्छे त मर्सिया जस्तो छ तर हामीले निकाल्न जान्न सकेनौँ किनभने यो धेरै हल्लिरहेको थियो त्यो हल्लेको हुनाले कहाँ जाउँ
When the earthquake struck, the shock waves traveled through the earth and along its surface. Over 7,000 miles from Kathmandu, scientists at the United States Geological Survey in Colorado pick up the signals from Nepal. This alerts Professor Roger Billen, who's been studying earthquakes in the Himalayas for over 30 years.
I immediately had a look to see how much money we had in the bank, and I purchased a ticket on the next flight to Kathmandu.
The energy released by this earthquake is huge. In 2010, 316,000 people died in Haiti when it was hit by a magnitude 7 earthquake. It's been compared to 32 Hiroshima bombs. The recent 7.8 earthquake in Nepal is much bigger. The comparison is 504 Hiroshimas.
This is a significant earthquake because it's telling us so much about the processes underneath the Himalaya.
The origins of this earthquake are rooted in the collision of two massive pieces of the Earth's crust. 50 million years ago, the Indian tectonic plate traveled north and smashed into the Eurasian plate. This collision is what created the Himalayas in the first place. And the Indian plate continues to push north at about 3/4 of an inch a year. The plates push against each other and stick, causing pressure to build up. On April 25th, Some of that pressure was released when the fault between the two plates ruptured almost 10 miles below ground. That caused the earthquake.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome place to be. Back at base camp. Let's hope with a bit more luck. I think we'll have a bit more luck.
Climber Paul Devaney is at base camp when the earthquake triggers the avalanche on Everest.
Inside. Whoa, inside! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh, down! Under the table!
Come on. Close the door!
Oh my god. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. That's huge. That is huge. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's huge. Stop. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
It's a disaster zone down there in the middle of the camp. This is completely wiped out. Adventure consultants, there's a whole lot of camps right in the middle that are just gone to nothing. Oh boy, it's scary. It's frightening stuff right now. This place just like a war zone. This is our camp here. You can see a lot of snow and we're looking out over base camp. Maybe about 40 minutes since the earthquake. And everyone's still pretty shaken up, but the priority is where is everyone? Where are the Sherpa? Where are the climbers? It's a scene of pretty surreal devastation. It really is something else. Yeah, it's like a plane crash or something.
The avalanche is a deadly mixture of ice, snow and rocks. When it stops, it blocks their escape down the mountain.
That's where the wall of snow came thundering towards us with incredible speed. And yeah, you back up into the icefall, we can't see anything. So it's the eeriness of not being able to see anything. I can't express to you how it felt to have the whole glacier moving violently underneath you, dancing around the place. Wow, it was something else. Something else. And then to see that and turn around and see a wall of snow coming, flying at you at incredible speed and smashing into the tents. I think it had lost most of its energy by the time it got to us, and thank goodness for that. A lot of impact injuries, where a lot of the tents and a lot of the kitchen equipment had been picked up and just flung with the force of the energy. Some people were hit with debris coming at them, and for anyone that was standing up, it just picked them up and threw them like rag dolls across the middle of base camp. So it was a horrific scene. So it's evening time. It's around 8 o'clock, and what do you say? The consequence tonight is that there's 11 people dead, and there's about 15 people fighting for their lives. Sherpa here don't know what to do. They've never seen this here, never. In the history of expeditions on this mountain, there's never been such a catastrophe at base camp. And yeah, I think everyone's in shock, and so am I. So it's definitely the most frightening thing I've ever lived through. And we're lucky because we've lived through it so far.
Later, Paul and the other climbers learn it's not just Everest, it's most of the country.
We're hearing numbers of 2,500, 3,000, 4,000. As the day goes on, it grows, and you're up to 5,000 people. And you realize this is a national disaster. And what happened in base camp is kind of like just a a kind of microcosm of that larger tragedy.
Aftershocks continue for days. Collapsing buildings a constant threat. Rescuers risk their own lives to find survivors. 5 days in, and there seems little chance of finding anyone else alive.
We were told that there's voices heard in a void space. We have a search reconnaissance team with us right now. We're going to go out, hopefully locate that victim.
A 15-year-old boy is trapped underground.
It's what we call an entombment, so he wasn't specifically crushed, but what he was inside of a box with heavy concrete all around him.
A policeman crawls in and speaks to the boy.
First of all, I knocked there, but no response. After calling many times, the boy responded.
For 5 hours, they battle to bring him out into daylight.
First time I approached to him, I made a light to in his face, and he was so astonished, so amazing, and I assured him that we are here to rescue you, please, you don't worry, and be safe and calm, be confident, we'll rescue you.
After so many deaths, Pemba's remarkable survival gives Nepal a moment of hope.
Feel तिमीलाई कस्तो लागिरहेछ खाना खाथ्यो अनि भुजा लाग्यो रे तल झर्दा झर्दा त्यो चिर्न थाल्यो भित्ताहरू अनि दौडिँदाखेरि माथिबाट थिचेको थियो अन्डीहरू नि थियो खोइ पुर्या जस्तो लागेको थियो कहिले फेरि भुइँचा लागे जस्तो नि लाग्छ कहिले काहीँ थर्किन्छ कहिले डोजरहरू करा जस्तो लाग्छ थाहा नै छैन कति घन्टा भयो के भयो के थाहा नै छैन
के खायो त्यतिखेर पानीहरू थियो त्यतिखेर खायो
उज्यालो आयो अनि त्यसपछि फेरि एकचोटि होसमा आयो एकचोटि फर्स्टमा जाने कोही हावा तालमा सोचिरहेको थियो रहेछ म भेट्ने हो भनेको खोइ फोनै लागेन हुन्छ
Really difficult to track him. Yeah, it was really difficult to track him, but we did it. Really great job. Yes.
He's the lead operator, the lead rescuer. He's a hero. Yeah.
Roger Billam, an expert in Himalayan earthquakes, has arrived in Nepal.
I hope it doesn't happen, but we may have another large earthquake.
They don't have much time. They have to find out what happened during this earthquake to work out where another might strike.
Actually, a sense of urgency. We were arriving here as soon as we could to collect data that would otherwise be lost because it's being collected at a very high rate and it's filling up a memory buffer, and when it gets to full memory, it starts overwriting in the beginning.
33 kilometers, Laguna.
John Galetska has been busily collecting all these data from throughout Nepal using helicopters. There's a huge sense of urgency of getting the data before it's lost.
John flies out to a GPS station recording information about the earthquake.
They'll be back. They're going to take some injured people. Okay.
So this is one of maybe 4 stations directly over the rupture. What we have here is a continuous GPS station. So really it's anchored into the earth here, about 1.5 meters or 2 meters, glued in.
The position of these stations is being measured using GPS technology. GPS satellites constantly orbit the Earth, broadcasting radio signals to GPS stations on the ground. If a station moves by even a fraction, that is picked up and recorded at the station itself.
Okay, station's working. We are going to download the data. This high sample rate data will show us the shaking, the strong motion, the big seismic waves, and the movement of the plates at the same time. So this station was about right here 10 days ago. And then the earthquake happened. So seismic waves, and then seismic waves and the tectonic movement, the plate shifting, and then the antenna settled to where it is right now.
By collecting data from all 37 GPS stations, they will get a detailed picture of how the tectonic plates have moved and how Nepal's landscape has changed forever.
It's been fried somehow. There will always be earthquakes in the Himalaya, but if they build strong house, it's no problem.
This information could save lives.
You see those big waves knocking people off their feet or making it difficult to stand. That plugs into, designing good buildings that can withstand these tremendous forces. Okay, let's go. Namaste, Didi. This earthquake is like the Rosetta Stone. Having these high-tech devices, GPS units, satellite radar, interferometry, the seismic network, all this together will help, paint a big picture of what happened, not only just now, but what might have happened in the past and what will happen in the future. So we're going to learn so much from this earthquake.
Bhaktapur, the old capital of Nepal, as the tremors began. Almost 5 miles north is Sanku, one of the towns worst hit by the earthquake. Almost the entire center has been reduced to rubble. Sunil Singh, a teacher, managed to escape.
This used to be my bedroom. This used to be our living room.
When the earthquake came, Sunil was at home with his elderly mother. The house started shaking. Sunil rushed her outside.
कस्तो डर लाग्छ तानेर लान्छ यतिकै हल्लाउँछ यतिकै ढल्लाउँछ छोराले च्यापेर बस्छ भित्र परेछ अब भित्रला भ्याप्नु भन यस्तो छैन यो त्यतिकै छ
That was so scary that we feel very much grateful to be alive.
The death toll here is high.
My mother and elder sister are there when earthquake came. That's why they both died together. At that time, I was in college. When I reached at my home, then both are died. That was I can't say.
फेरि फेरि भुइँचालो आइराखेको डर छ के गर्नु कहाँ जाने कसो जाने सहयोग गर्ने कोही छैन पैसा केही छैन खानु दुःख लाग्यो मलाई
Sunil's faith sustains him. He gives thanks for their lives. He and his mother sleep in a nearby shop. The shutters left up. They want an easy escape. This is a time of deep grief. The Hindu tradition decrees bodies must be dipped in the Bagmati River 3 times and then cremated. Ashes scattered on the water.
म पनि मर्ने होला थिएँ तर कतिपय मान्छेले ठेलेर म भागेँ भागेर म बाँच्ने सफल भयो मेरो अगाडि तरासफ्राम थियो मेरो अगाडि दायाँ बायाँ घरहरू पनि ढले म चाहिँ सँगै दगुरेको एकजना साथी दाइ दाइ भन्दा पनि उ मरिसक्यो दाइ एक आखर भन्यो दोस्रो आखर बोलेन आफ्नै परिवार अब मसित सँगै फ्ल्याट हुने साथीहरू यस्तो हुँदाखेरि एकदम भन्दा एकदम पिर्छ एकदम भन्दा एकदम मर्का छ
पिडाट एकदमै भयो नि पिडाट अब फ्यामिलीमा सबै त्यस्तो हुँदाखेरि 4 जना हामी अन्तिम संस्कार गर्न आका अहिले पिडाट अब कहिले पनि नबिर्सेनी
मानव जातिले बिरलै भोग्नु पर्ने
The Nepali Parliament is in session when the country is rocked by a second major earthquake.
Okay, about a minute ago there was a very violent earthquake. We don't know where it was, probably about 20 or 30 kilometers from Kathmandu, and it set the whole valley shaking just like it did in the main earthquake. Everyone was absolutely terrified. They could hardly stand. The car we were traveling, it was rocked backwards and forwards, and I could still feel small movements shaking the car. I think it's still moving.
It is still moving.
Grief. To see people in a wide open space with their arms outstretched, wondering what was going to hit them, even though there was nothing above them. There were only trees and birds. They were terrified something was going to come out of the sky and zap them whilst they were tottering around trying to stand up. You have no idea how scared these people are until you actually see them. People don't do that unless they've just recovered from an even worse shock, which of course was 16 days ago, the main shock. I've dialed up the USGS earthquake page, and I'm sitting here waiting for a dot to appear on the map to tell me how big and exactly where it was. Wait a minute, there's got to be something wrong. Sorry, what's... It's a 7.4, but yeah, it is. It's a 7.4. My goodness. So this is only a little bit smaller than the main shock. It was not a trivial aftershock. This was a really major event. Let's go and talk to the survey department.
It was magnitude 7.4.
This is the second earthquake in less than 3 weeks. The first was on April the 25th, about 50 miles northwest of Kathmandu. magnitude 7.8. Aftershocks spread eastward across the country towards Mount Everest. The epicenter of the second earthquake is around midway between Kathmandu and Mount Everest. Originally, it was magnitude 7.4, then adjusted to 7.3.
Oh, so there it is.
Yeah.
It's much more.
So these are today's earthquakes. These here, the orange one.
Oh,
this is the
yes,
main
please,
shock.
please.
This is the aftershocks. And today's earthquakes are moving the energy towards Mount Everest, which is right there. So, you know, we wouldn't be at all surprised to see some more aftershocks in this region tomorrow, or the next day, or maybe next week, progressing another 30 kilometers. You know, it's like the Himalayas suddenly become unraveled, and it's unraveling eastwards. And this earthquake is going to make history because we're going to learn so much. I mean, for science, it's wonderful. For people, it's terrifying.
The second earthquake triggers even more landslides across the country. In Nepal's mountainous regions, there are more than 5,000, especially in the Sindhpalchok area.
It's been a long 2 days. We got one more, to be honest with you. Now check this out. See this all over the place.
Aid worker Michael Andrew is in the area visiting remote villages caught by the first earthquake. Then he's caught up in the second.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Stay here. Major earthquake! Holy crap! Oh my God, look at that! We're okay. I was hiding behind this rock right here. Holy crap, I'm shaking. I'm okay, just relax, wait. Oh my gosh, it's like the whole mountain's coming down. It was a big earthquake. I mean, we could feel it bouncing us up and down, maybe 30 or 40 seconds. We're out in the... Oh my gosh, look at that, look at that. Holy shoot. Okay, we were just on that trail, I kid you not, 20 minutes ago, right there where those rocks are coming down. That is crazy stuff right there. Huh?
Things happen so fast, you don't really think about what you're doing. You know, when you feel like your life is in danger, you just kind of react.
We're fine, we're good. I saw the rocks coming down, I dove behind a rock. But look at that. Those are all landslides up there. It's crazy. So we got to keep our eyes peeled up here for rocks coming down. I was looking and there were some trees moving, which told me there were some rocks. You know, some of these rocks are thousands of pounds in weight.
I was just in awe that the mountain across from me, it seemed like the whole mountain was coming down. There were landslides and smoke and debris coming down. And the thing about, you know, these landslides is these rocks are not small. You know, they could be 500, 1,000, couple thousand pounds in weight. And from that elevation and the speed they get, so it's just like a missile. So you can hear it, it sounds like thunder.
So we're sitting out here waiting for our helicopter to come get us. A lot of aftershocks. We're a little kind of like on the edge. Here's the landing pad for our helicopter. We're just basically chilling, waiting, but we're super nervous.
Can you imagine being buried alive and your body never being found, even if they knew you were there? Larger landslides, the huge ones, there is nothing you can do to outrun it, to outthink it, to outhide it. If you are caught in one of those big ones, you're punching your clock, it's over.
One of the villages near the epicenter of the first earthquake is Arugut, less than 10 miles away. People who lost their homes are starting to rebuild their lives.
He is my father. He is 72 years old. She is my mother. She is 55. And she is my daughter. She is 6 years old. She is my sister. And my wife feeding her kids. And that was my son, only a 9-month-old. This is my home. It's all destroyed inside. At that time, my nephew is sleeping in that room, and my sister is lying here with my daughter, and my wife is feeding my small kids, 8-month-old kids here, and I'm just there. And it's at 11:56 in local Nepali time. The home is shaking suddenly, shaking like this. And I said to my sister and wife, just go out. We ran from here, and when I reached here, this big stone came from up, this big stone. See, it's like a small home. Yeah, it fell down from there, and we all 6 people are here.
Many families have only a temporary tarpaulin for shelter. Nights are cold, and the rains are on their way.
2, 3, go.
It's very bad. Here is a lot of mosquito, and you see, my baby is 6 here. So mosquito made this. 70-80 people are staying in this long tent. So about 20-25 families staying here. So all people have the same problem like me.
Nepal is a country at the mercy of natural forces. It's not just earthquakes, avalanches and landslides. Very soon the monsoon season will start, and the disaster will enter a new phase. Ancient temples and former royal palaces lie in ruins. They embody thousands of years of history and culture.
Most of these temples are still being used, and they have religious value as well as purely cultural value. And very clearly these two temples sort of create this whole space here, which is a part of the identity of the city. One of the most critical things that we're working on immediately is how do we stabilize these structures before the monsoon comes about 6 weeks' time. And if it starts raining and the water seeps into these structures, the whole thing could collapse. So if we look at these piles of wooden beams and even we can see that some of them still have the carvings, that'll be a major challenge just trying to figure out where these different elements came from if we're going to reuse it for reconstruction. The only problem is that it's, the big earthquakes only come every 80 to 100 years, so there's a generation gap very often, and then they have to relearn the need to protect themselves. And after the last earthquake, I mean, we're still reconstructing after 80 years.
Roger Bilham returns to Colorado to analyze the earthquake data. It's early days, but he believes Nepal faces more danger.
The thing about this earthquake is that it happened right next to the rupture zone of an earthquake that happened in 1934, okay? And that was a magnitude 8.4 earthquake, a huge event. And what actually happened was you had a 7.8 earthquake in this region, 7.8. So everything in that zone slipped southwards, and it slipped about 1.5 meters. This earthquake was more than a wake-up call. It was a real earthquake, and it did real damage. There was no foreshock. We can't predict earthquakes, and this gave us no warning. It just happened out of the blue. We have no further clues about how we might get the time of a large earthquake. We've had earthquakes to the east, we've had earthquakes to the far west, and there's a kind of gap in between. That gap in between has to catch up. In other words, there might well be another future earthquake occurring in western Nepal. It's really scary. We know earthquakes as big as 8.6 have occurred in the Himalaya. There's no reason why one with that magnitude could not occur in the next 10 years or the next 10 minutes.
After the avalanche, I'm not afraid. I will just continue going for my passion and for my dreams.
सोचे होला अब यो चाहिँ एकदमै नराम्रो चाहिँ नि नेपालमा चाहिँ भयो यसबाट पार पाउनु चाहिँ नि अब हामी आफै नेपाली राख्नुपर्छ अब साथीहरु विदेशी साथीहरु सबैजना आएर हामीलाई चाहिँ
A lot of people are still very, very frightened. There's going to be a lot of people sleeping outside for a long time to come. There's going to be a lot of people in the parks and tents. It's going to take a number of years to get everyone back to where they were the day before the earthquake.
He's just lucky to get life again.